Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om. Guru Brahma Guru Vishnu Guru Devo Mageshwaraha Gurureva Param Brahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Ishvaro Gururagmeti Murti Veda Vibhagini Vyomavad Vyapta Degaya Shri Dakshinaha Murti Meedhi. Namaste to everybody. We were seeing the 18 secrets in Valmiki Ramayanam. In this 18 secrets serial, our main concept is to evolve our bhakti, as well as it has to be enriched in the light of Sri Ramakrishna, Holy Mother Sri Sarada Devi and Swami Vivekananda. In this aspect, we will see in the one among the secrets. As you all know, last class I dealt with bhakti, though it appears this word as a small, as a means a ordinary sense. It has an ocean of meaning. Bhakti means a devotion towards to God or towards to any supreme thing. But few people they asked me, Swamiji, is it the bhakti differ from what we have in our life and what we have with God? Of course, what you have with your wife or mother or children or property, that is love and affection towards to a perishable entity. But whereas the same thing unconditionally when we have towards to God, it is bhakti. Of course, as I mentioned in the earlier session also, the word bhakti was never termed or used in Vedas as well as in the Upanishad. Whereas we have in Bhagavad Gita, which is Itihasa as well as a Smriti Grantha. There, Lord Bhagavan in his Bhagavad Gita also mentioned, Lokesmin Vividha Nishtha Pura Prokta Mayanagha Jnana Yogena Sankhyanam Karma Yogena Yoginam. There also he has not mentioned about Bhakti people. Means he has mentioned there are two set of people in the world. One is Sankhya, means those who are oriented with devotion, and the second one is those who are having finch for thirst for knowledge, finching the thirst for knowledge. So there also, if you see, yes, Bhagavan has not mentioned about anyone about devotee. And of course, what we have in our mind as devotion, putting Tripanda or Basma or Rudrakshamala or Spatikamala, Tulasi Mala, or wearing ochre cloth or white cloth, or putting some signs in their forehead, those things, of course, they are preliminary, but they are not the supreme. Because in the Bhagavad Gita, 12th chapter, God has clearly made the 12th chapter is exclusively meant for Bhakti Yoga. But whereas, if you see the 12th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, there nowhere Bhagavan has mentioned anything externally. There the devotion, everything is internalized. What it means? You can see, you can refer 12th chapter, Adveshta Sarvabhutanam Maitrak Karuna Yevacha Nirmamo Nirahankara Samadukka Sukakshami Santushtam Satatam Yogi Yadatma Drida Nischayah Mayarpita Manobuddhihi Yo mat bhakta sachame priyaha. Yo na dveshti na kankshati. Shubha shubha parityagi. Bhaktiman me priyo naraha. Such a slokas we come across. And in none of these slokas, God exclusively said that a bhakta should wear only white cloth, which is a symbolize of purity, or wear some sacred thread, or wear some sign, means symbols on your forehead like Trishulam, or Basma, or Tripundam, or Namam, like that. But Swamiji, we wear, that is all para bhakti or sadhana bhakti. You all know in my YouTube channel I have exclusively given about this Bhakti Shastram in 20 lectures, which is available. 20 hours of lectures only on Bhakti. Sadhana Bhakti, Sadhya Bhakti, Gauna Bhakti, Mukhya Bhakti. There are innumerable subheadings are there in the Bhakti Shastram. But we are not going to deal with those things. As I mentioned, our main intention is to know what is in nutshell, as well as we want to see this Shastram, Bhakti Swarupam, in the light of Sri Ramakrishna, Swami Vivekananda, and Srimad Sarada. So, when I say the Swarupam of Bhakti, means the nature, intrinsic nature of a Bhakti, means what it means. Bhakti is a word and Swarupam is another word. These two words join together compound sentence which makes the nature or a form of a devotion. Paramanu Raktim, supreme love towards to God is Bhakti. This is one point. And second one is Nishkamataha, means desirelessness. When we do any devotion or action or life, it should be desireless. We should not hanker for any desire that no, I should achieve this, I should become such and such person, I should earn more and more. Of course, in the Shastram it is beautifully mentioned, Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha. These four are Purushartham, they call it in Sanskrit. Dharma means in a righteous way, when you earn anything, that is Dharma. Kama means not Tamil Kamam or Malayalam Kamam, which means desire. Desire, Swamiji, just now you mentioned desireless and you are contradicting your own statement. Of course, just wait and see. This desire is hankering or clinging or longing for God. When we have such desire, means there are good desires and bad desires. For example, when God has given you a beautiful house, no, I want to stay in a palace, that is greediness. That is not a correct desire. But we have come to this world to quit, to exhaust our karma. So, what we have to desire, it should be in a correct, righteous way. So, the desire towards to God, to know who we are, to know what is this world mean, where is God, and who He is, and how to attain it. These are all good desires. So, Nishkamata means desirelessness, which without, as Swami Vivekananda said, unselfishness is God. What it means? We should not have any selfish oriented things, selfish life. Then the third one is Sharanagati. Please pronounce it correctly. Sharanagati is different from Charanagati. Cha means it is feet. Sha means it is surrender. Sharanagati means total surrender. Surrendering everything, whether it is good or bad, God knows everything. So we have to surrender everything to Him. Of course, for this I always mention one thing. We don't know where we have to take birth. We have not chosen our father and mother. We have not chosen our birthplace. So there is no any point of discussing it. Then the second one is, we don't know when we are going to die. Of course, you may say, Swamiji, my Jadagam astrologist said that Jyotisha Shastri that I will die at this age of 60, 70. That is all just fake. Really speaking, when we are going to die, nobody knows. So, when we don't have this two, which is very essential in our life, birth and death, then what is there in between our life? We are thinking that I am taking some self-effort. There comes the crucial point. I am doing some, Swamiji, I am doing this I-ness, mamata in Sanskrit, not Bengali mamata, it is Sanskrit mamata, means mamakaram. I am the doer, I does this. It means, actually speaking, we have not surrendered anything to God. Whatever we do, that the result of the action should be surrendered to the God. Totally, whether it is good or bad, whatever may be the result. We should not think of it because we are nothing in front of Him. Because we don't have control, or we don't have means what, power of our own janana and maranam, birth and death. In between life also, actually speaking, what will happen the next moment, nobody knows. So, if you surrender everything to the God, then God will take care the entire thing. God means in the sense of those who are Advaitis, for them it is the supreme consciousness. Because for in Advaita, there is no any God. Only it is the pure consciousness. Of course, for the Vishishta Advaitam, it is Srimad Narayana Sankuchakra Gadapani, who has taken the 10 avatars, Matsya Kurma, Varaga, Vamana, Narasimha, Balarama, Krishna, Ramakrishna Adi Avatar. So, the fourth point is Satata Smaranam, constant remembrance of the God. This, of course, in Sri Ma group, constantly every day you are thinking, remembering the God through online and as well as offline. That is good, but keep it up and continue it. So these are all, with these 4 essential pillars, we have to see today's topic called Bhakti Swarupam. Of course, I have mentioned in the last class in the Bhagavatam what Bhakti means. It is the highest knowledge. Savai pumsam paramo dharmo yato bhakti adokshajah, as mentioned in Bhagavatam. Then Srimad Bhagavatam, 3rd chapter, Skanda, 25th sloka and 18th sloka beautifully says, Bhaktir muktir dhadati karhichit smarana bhakti yoga. The meaning is, Bhakti itself grants liberation. It does not depend upon any means. Means here any sadhanam. Like Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, Raja Yoga. There are so many yogas are there. Yoga means Yunjate, Yujdatu, to join. But here, Bhakti is alone sufficient. That will give mukti. We need not to depend upon other. That's why in the Parabhakti, Ramanuja beautifully in his Gadyatrayam has mentioned Parabhakti Varajnana Paramabhakti Krita Paripurnana Varda Anadava Vishesha Swarupa. In the Gadyatrayam he has mentioned in front of Srimad Narayana of Srirangam temple. Please God grant me this boon. Parabhakti Parajnana Paramabhakti Krita Paripurnana Varda. If you know this meaning, you will enjoy it. Similarly, if you see in the from the standpoint of Adi Shankaracharya, he mentioned in his in his Viveka Chudamani, Swaswaroopanusandhanam bhaktiritya vidhiyate. Swaswaroopanusandhanam bhaktiritya vidhiyate. There the bhakti means not external worship or internal worship. Know your intrinsic nature, what you are. If you know who you are, that is bhakti. Bhakti towards to your own consciousness. Consciousness means not the Western psychology, Sigmund Freud consciousness, but whereas it means the pure consciousness, which is, we call it in Sanskrit, Atma or Chaitanyam. In the Lalita Sahasranama, beautifully it is mentioned by Agastya. Consciousness is God. Where it comes? Chaitanyargya samaragnya Chaitanya kusuma priya sadotita sadatushta taruna divya patala. There also we worship God as lady, wearing sari, putting tilak and using some flowers and other things. Yes, of course, that is all preliminary. But in the ultimate sense, the God, what we call as Kali or Krishna or Shiva or Parvati are one and the same, because they are all pure consciousness. Bhakti as oneness of heart, as mentioned. It is mentioned in the Shvetashvatara Upanishad 6.23, that is 6th chapter 23rd mantra. Yasya devo para bhakti yatha devo tatha kuru tasyaite katitaghyartah prakashante mahatmanah. Is the Mahatma, supreme devotee, and who is never seen any inequilibrium, one who is equal devotion to his Guru, truth to the scripture, and towards to other people. He is a real Bhaktiman. Bhakti is pure bliss. Narada in his Bhakti Sutram is written here Bhakti Shastram called Narada Bhakti Sutram. Sutram means it's aphorism. They call it in English. It is aphorism. In Sanskrit it is Sutrartham Varnate Yatra Sutram Sutro Vido Viduhu. It is just like a small nutshell. But if you open it like a pendulum box, it will blast with a beautiful knowledge, idea, or a synopsis. Means hypothesis point is mentioned in a nutshell. That is aphorism. There, in the Narada Bhakti Sutram, Narada beautifully mentioned Sa Tvasmin Parama Prema Swarupa. What it means? The bhakti is of nature which the supreme divine love, the same love what you have with your wife and mother and children, the same love and affection if you show towards your God, that is bhakti. Of course, you should not take it as vachyartham, means in a general statement. It has a great significant. They call it as vachyartham. Vachyartham means inner philosophical meaning is there. And bhakti is the highest goal, as mentioned in the Bhagavatam 11th skanda, Ekadasha skandam, 14th anuvakam or dasarga, 20th mantra. Na sadayati mam yogena Sankyam Dharmam Uddhavaha. There Sri Krishna mentioning to Uddhava. Uddhava is a devotee who is always wearing Sri Krishna's whatever Sri Krishna wear today, the next day he will not wear. Those dress, whatever Krishna has eaten, whatever Krishna utilized, those things will be given to Uddhava, and Uddhava was a pure devotee, and he mentioned in the Bhagavatam Ekadasha Skandam, neither yoga, knowledge or ritual, or by studying or by tapas, that is austerities, please the Bhagavan. But only by one he will get melted. And what it is? Intense devotion. Intensify your devotion towards to God, then you will understand what really bhakti means. Now, when I say these things, then a question may arise, Swamiji, you are telling because you are a sannyasi, you are a mendicant boy. So you can easily able to say, you can quote right and left, but whereas how to get this bhakti, devotion in our day-to-day affairs? Yes, in Srimad Bhagavatam, 7th chapter, 5th skanda and 23rd mantram, sloka, where you all well versed this Hiranyakashipu was the father who want to kill his own son called Prahalada. And Prahalada is not his first son, please note that. Before Prahalada, 3 sons were there. Hagla, Samglaga, Vilagha and Prahlada. 4 sons were there and he is the 4th one. Usually, generally, the last son will be very dear to their parents. But whereas in the life of Prahlada, Hiranyakashipu went for tapas and Kayadi, that is Prahlada's wife, was kidnapped by Indra. So to get rescue, she took asylum under Narada Maharishi. Narada Maharishi, since she is pregnant lady, daily Narada 6 to 7 Upanyasa, one discourse, spiritual discourse is started because he got only one devotee and that too, Asura wife. So he started giving Upadesham from Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, Idihasam and Puranas. One day what happened, when Narada was reciting from Vishnu Puranam, this Kayadi, that lady, fell asleep. And she slept. But whereas the child which is in her womb started listening. When I say this, one of my students asked me, Swamiji, is it possible? It is just a myth. No, it will not happen in reality. Then I told, in this real sense, you can just go and discuss the same thing, whichever any gynecologist or any radiologist doctors are there, you can just consult with them. Then you will come to know the truth. Once the child is formed in the mother's womb, the science, the so-called science says, after 3rd or 4th month, the child start listening to the actions and the language what the mother is talking. It is true. And that's why sometimes these children's, they have the same gene in their, of course, it is because of DNA process, you may say, but it is not only because of the DNA process. When the child was in the mother's womb, the child start listening and hearing what the mother is talking. That's why when they come out, it is beautifully, they will listen and their life will be formed. Because of which our Hindu Sanatana Dharma, after once the ladies were getting pregnant, they will be sent to their mother's home, because the mother means the lady should not do any action, means work. Instead of that, she should listen, going to temple or listening some good scriptural things, especially Bhagavatam or Vishnu Puranam or Ramayanam, Mahabharatam. Swami Vivekananda also in his life, if you see, when Bhuvaneshwari Amma, means the mother of Swami Vivekananda, when she was pregnant, Bhuvaneshwari mother taught Ramayanam and Mahabharatam to her. That is how our life is beautifully framed. Of course, nowadays they are not following. I am not going to that things. But whereas when the Kayadi was pregnant, Narada was taking Vishnu Puranam, and this Shishu, which is mentioned in the Bhagavatam also, Shishu Gita, it comes in Kapilopatesham. There also how the baby is formed. Beautifully it is elaborated in one's full sarga. There this child started listening, and Narada came to know the child is listening. So he gave the Ashtakshara mantram of Srimad Narayana, Om Namo Narayanaya, this mantra. Of course, the child don't know who is the Guru because he is inside the mother's womb. So this child started reciting the same mantra after hearing plenty of time. Then he came out with a beautiful devotion called Bhakti. So when Hiranyakashipu was torturing Prahalada, he never ever complained or undergone for any suffering. But whereas he has taken with a good positive attitude, and all the things, whatever test Hiranyakashipu has given, those things he has taken as a task towards to God and towards to devotion. And finally, this Prahalada, who is a student of Narada, he defined the ninefold devotion called Navavida Bhakti. That is what we are going to see today. I'll recite the sloka first, then we'll see one by one. Ninefold path for devotion. It is one small caution. It is not to estimate or to analyze these 9 things towards to others. But whereas, why Bhagavad Purana mentioned these 9 form of devotion is, if you have anyone in your life, you can say yourself, yes, I am a devotee. If you don't have these things, try to inculcate in your life so that you will become a real, pure devotee of God. So, let me see one by one. Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, Padasevanam, Archanam, Vandanam, Dasyam, Sakyam, Atmanivedanam. Shravanam. We will see one by one. Shravanam means hearing. Hearing one can able to be a devotee. Yes. Of course, Sri Srima, you people all daily hearing from 7 to 8. Some Upanyasam, Prabhashanam will be there. So you are all Shravanavan. The Veda says, Shrotriyasya Chakamagatasya. One who is hearing continuously, constantly about the God, he will be a Akamataha, means he will become a desireless person. Who is the greatest example? Hearing itself he has got mukti, Raja Parikshit. You all know the story. Parikshit will be killed by Takshaka, one snake, within 7 days. So Bhagavatam says, when Bhagavatam is telling 7 days only his death. Within 7 days he will get death. Of course, for everybody, within 7 days only we are going to die. Swamiji, what you are telling? Is it true? Within 7th day I will die? No. Everybody will die within 7 days only. You please carefully listen, then only you can able to understand what it means. In a week only 7 days. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday and Sunday. So within this Monday to Sunday, our death is confirmed. That is why Bhagavatam said, within 7 days he will die. Because we often misunderstand, oh, Parikshit will die after the 7th day. It is not after the 7th day, within 7 days. And each and every soul, every individual, we have only 7 days. So start listening, start hearing the names of the God. That is Shravanam. Hearing the Lord's glory. Then the second one is Smaranam. Smaranam means remembrance. Why we want to remember? Because God is the supreme. God is the supreme. And who is by remembering the God, one who got mukti means that is Shukdev Goswami. You all know Bhagavatam is given by Shukadeva. Shukadeva is at the age of 14 to 15 in an adolescent age. But whereas he never ever bothered about his family and he never had any body consciousness. When he was an youngster, he left his home and started walking on the street wearing an kaupinam, that is the lion cloth. And when we was crossing the river Yamuna, there few ladies without dress, they were taking bath on the bank of the Yamuna. Nobody noticed and nobody felt ashamed of seeing a young chap crossing the bank. But whereas he was followed by his father Vyasa. You all know Suka's father name is Vyasa. Where it comes Sri Vishnu Puranam, Vyasaya Vishnu Rupaya Vyasa Rupaya Vishnave Namo Vai Brahmanidaye Vashishtaya Namo Namaha. There also Shaktim cha Tatputra Parasaram cha Vyasam Shukam Gaudapatam. So Vyasa is the father and his son is Sukacharya. When then this Vyasa was crossing, all the ladies, they folded their hand and covered their chest, and under the water they were standing. Then immediately Vyasa asked, have you not noticed my son who is just 14 to 15, a young chap? When he was crossing, you don't have any shame and not covered your body, but whereas me, when I am passing or just crossing this river, I am at the age of more than 100, you people are feeling shy. Then one of the Gopikas said, Swami, have you noticed one thing? This question also you are only asking, whereas Shukdev never noticed whether we are there or not. Such a Mahatma Shukadeva, a small young chap, he never had body consciousness at all. All the time he was chanting the glory of Vishnu, and because he was glorifying, chanting Sri Hari name, he got mukti. So Shravanam, Smaranam, Kirtanam, there actually. And third one is Vishnu Smaranam, remembering Vishnu. Who is the greatest example for this remembrance of God, remembering always the God, is Prahlada Swami. Prahlada is the student and Narada is the teacher. If you go to the Bhakti Shastram and if you see who is the top 10, the first person is Prahlada Narada Parasara Pundari Kaksha Vyasa Shuka Saunaka Gaudapada. Prahlada is the first person. Now you see, the student has overtaken the Guru's position. Why? When Hiranyakashipu was torturing Prahlada, he called the mad elephant to chase this child. Whereas Prahlada was remembering the same elephant once rescued by Sri Krishna when he was in Kuvalaya Peetham. Once, like this only, one elephant was caught by the crocodile. Gajendra Moksham was given by Sri Vishnu. When Hiranyakashipu put Prahlada in the fire, he told the entire Veda started with Agnimi Ele Purogitam. So the Agni Tattvam is Vishnu. When the Prahlada Chota Bacha is a small boy, was thrown and many poisonous snakes were kept in a room, Prahlada was not afraid. Whereas Prahlada remembering God, these snakes are nothing, but whereas my Sri Vishnu is sleeping on the big snake called Adishesha. So his mind is always remembering God. So this remembrance, constant remembrance, what happened? He became a Bhaktiman. That's why Vishnu Smaranam. Then the fourth point is Pada Sevanam. Pada Sevanam means serving the lotus feet of the God. You all know who is the wealth department head? Lord Mahalakshmi. Lord Mahalakshmi having innumerable wealth, but whereas she herself serving to Lord feet, Pada Sevanam. Why? Because she is the first. She is the first devotee of God. Archanam. Archanam means with some few flowers, we do daily prayer or Pushpanjali to God. Is it Swamiji? No. Many people, we think with Vilva to Lord Shiva, with Tulasi to Lord Vishnu, or with some costly flowers like lotus or rose or some hibiscus or some costly flowers we worship to the God, putting big mala. Is God will be pleased? No. Actually speaking, there is a beautiful Subhashitam which declares which is the supreme flower. What is the supreme flower? There the Sanskrit Acharya says Ahimsa pratamam pushpam pushpamindriya nigrahah sarvabhuta daya pushpam kshama pushpam visheshatah jnana pushpam tapa pushpam shanti pushpam tataiva cha satyam ashthavidam pushpam Vishnu preetikaram bhavet. Sri Vishnu will be pleased if you have these 8 flowers in with you. And what are those 8 flowers? Not rose or lotus or jasmine or any such flowers, but whereas ahimsa. What is meant by ahimsa? Non-violence. Daya indriya nigraha, control over the sense. And pushpam indriya nigraham. Indriya nigraham is control over the sense. Then sarva jivo paradayaha, having kindness for all the people. Then kshama pushpam, forgiveness. Forgiveness you all know. Jnana pushpam, reading the scriptures. Tapap pushpam. Tapam means not standing in one leg or closing your eyes or doing some sort of effort. Here penance means constantly being thinking of the God. Peace, shanti, always with a tranquil mind we should be. Not over exasperated or with anxiety. Shanti, peaceful. Then satyam, truth. Speak the truth always. Truth may have some bitterness, but tell it politely. As the Shastra mentioned, satyam cha hitam cha priyam cha tat vakyam yat satyam. That which spoken with please, without hurting, and with a correct statement is the correct word or truth. So these 8 flowers are the real flowers, means which which should be used for doing archana. Archana means worshipping the deity. Then vandanam. Vandanam means praying. Prayer. We should pray. You all know one great devotee came from a Irish country, and she was constantly doing prayer. And she has written a beautiful book called Life in Indian Monastery by a Christian nun called Sister Devamata. He met Swami Vivekananda, and under his guidance, she came to Chennai and worked with Swami Ramakrishnanandaji, Shashi Maharaj, and established many institutions. But if you see her life is full of prayer. Similarly, in the Christian book, Brother Lawrence one has written a beautiful book called Practice and Presence of the Lord. In that book also, how to pray to God is mentioned. Those who are interested, they can go through those 2 books, Life and Indian Monastery by Sister Devamata and Brother Lawrence, Practice and Presence of the Lord. Then the third one is Dasyam, exclusiveness with the God. Dasyam means I am the servant of the Lord. That bhava, that means sort of attitude should be there. Who is the greatest example for this Dasya bhava is Hanuman. If you see in Valmiki Ramayan, one personality which doesn't have any sort of hankering or any sort of ego, an iota of ego, is Hanuman. Of course, Bharata, what he got, that he has renounced, but for the sake of his brother, because his elder brother is supposed to be the king, so he has renounced it. That is not a real renunciation. Lakshmana, he is also accompanied with Sri Ramachandra Prabhu. When we say, no, Swamiji, that is also Dasya Bhava, of course, but not in a reality or in a real sense, because it is to help his elder brother he has accompanied. And Sita, because Sita, a poor lady, she has to serve her husband, so therefore, as a pativrata, she has to accompany. But whereas, if you see in that personalities, Sugriva also was helping Rama only to get back the Kishkinda from Vali. Vibhishana was also working, helping Sri Ramachandra Prabhu, but having a small devotion that I will get back Sri Lanka from my elder brother Ravana, because he was not following the virtue. But whereas Hanuman has not, means that monkey, not asked for anything. And if you see in the Valmiki Ramayanam, one character, even the devils or angels or the king, royal king palace, queen or brothers or kith and kins had such sort of one selfishness. But whereas if you go through the entire life of Hanuman, not a pinch of ego is there. Without expecting anything, he was dedicated his entire life. That is why I mentioned exclusive. Exclusive means it should be full, complete. Completely it should be. So such character personality is Hanuman. So Dasyam. Then the seventh one is Sakyam. Sakyam means friendship. We should feel that God is not a separate person. We should feel that He is my Father. Of course, we have our own blood-related father, mother, wife, friends, or kith and kin. But in the real sense, God is our only father, mother, and brother. Because each time when we are taking one Janma, suppose in this Janma you got a father, mother, all those blood relatives. But how many Janmas you have taken, as mentioned by Manika Vasakar in his Tiruvasakam? Pullagi, Pundai, Palmirgamagi, Paravayai, Pambai, Kallai, Manidarai, Peyai, Kanangalai, Vallarasuvagi, Munivarai, Tevarai, Chellada Yittavara Sangamatul, Ella Pirappum Pirandu Ilaitene, Emberuman. He is mentioning, oh God, I have not taken one birth, I have taken plenty as a blade of grass, then bird as wild beast, then slowly they means angels or any species, and slowly I got elevated to such level. Now I became a human. At this junction also, if I am not remembering you, what is this? I don't want this life. That is what that sloka mentioned, means the meaning. The example for real devotee, Sakyam, is Arjuna. Arjuna never felt Krishna as a supreme God. When he got a turbulence, what is right and what is wrong, he not able to determine. Immediately he asked his friend, Shishastegam Shadimam Tvam Prapannaha. He folded his hand and told, hey Krishna, until Krishna was a chariot, he is actually a driver. He asked, Krishna, please tell me, I am not able to know which is right and which is wrong. You please kindly help me. Then Krishna showed his grace and gave Srimad Bhagavad Gita. Similarly, during the Vishwarupa Darshanam of the 11th chapter, when Sri Krishna has shown his real form in a magnanimity, Aneka Vaktranayanam, Aneka Adbhuta Darshanam, Aneka Dibhyavaranam, Dibyagandhanu Lepanam, Sarvascharyamayam Kinchit, Arjuna got embarrassment. He never thought that this poor, my chariot, my driver will become such a supreme God. So he prayed to him that time also, hey Krishna, hey Yadava, hey Saketi. Saketi means, hey, I thought you are my friend, but whereas now you are showing your real form and you are showing an exclusive form only to me, which I am not able to digest. Please come back with your original form. Be with me as a friend. And there he folded his hand and he told, Pitasi lokasya characharasya tvamasya bhujyasya gururgariyan natvassamobhya vyadiga kutonyo lokatrayebhya pratima prabhava. This sloka is the greatest treasure for every human being. Pitasi lokasya characharasya. You are the father of this entire universe. I think that I have two fathers, Vasudeva and Devaki, and this side Nandagopa and Yashoda. But now I understood you are my father. Piteva putrasya sakeva sakyuhu. You are my friend, you are my guide, you are my guardian, and you are my everything, philosopher, and you are my everything. You please help me. Sakeva sakyuhu. You are my friend of friend, as mentioned by Swami Vivekananda also. Vivekananda, friend of all. So here Sri Krishna said, okay, I will come back with my original form. Treat me as your friend and I will guide you. So this exclusive friendshipness, whenever we are going outside, we should not feel that no, it is after all a photo, a God is kept in the altar. So it is just only once in a while we will go morning or evening, just we will think and come back. No, that is very wrong. That's why in Hindu Sanatana Dharmam, beautifully they have inculcated one thing. When the house was built, they don't keep their own name to the house, whereas they keep Sri Griham or Srinivasaha. Vasaha means the house where we are residing. And whose house this is? It is Srinivasaha. Srinivasaha. Nivasaha means the house where Lord is residing. And some people they say Sri Hari Griham. Griham means what? A house. It is not the householders, means the so-called ration card holder. In Tamil Nadu we say that no, he is the household house head. No, the real Grihapati, house leader is, home maker is the God. So we should always think of that. God is my owner and I am the servant of the God. This attitude should be there. Then the last final for this day, Atma Nivedanam, complete surrender, complete surrender. I am just nothing in front of you, God. You just think 14 lokas, the Milky Galaxy is running. Can you able to imagine the moon, sun, star and all the so-called Jupiter, Mars, all these planets are just without falling from the sky, it is hanging. And who is hanging all those things? Means just rotating and without hitting anything. Moon is rotating itself and all means meanwhile circumambulating the sun. Meanwhile other stars and other planets are also moving here and there, but nothing is dashing. Even when we go just near outside taking our two-wheeler or four-wheeler, we are dashing. But whereas in the Prapancham, in the Milky Galaxy, the God is maintaining everything. If you understand this standpoint, we are nothing in front of the God, and the God is already protecting us, and He is the entire thing. Sun is rising in the east, sun is setting in the west. Who is rising? How the sun is rising? We can't be able to lift one torch also at the morning when the sun, early morning. But whereas sun is correctly coming, as the Veda says, Bayad Agnistapati Bayad Tapati Suryaha Bayad Indrascha Suryascha Mrityurdhavati Panchamaiti. Everything, the solar and the lunar and the Milky Galaxy and all the stars and planets are moving correctly by the grace of the God. Whereas this petty human being, we think that no, I am doing everything. This attitude has to be changed, and we should have a complete surrender to God, that God, I am nothing, I am nothing, I am nothing to do, but whereas you are everything. As mentioned by Sri Krishna in his Bhagavad Gita, we are just a puppet. Sutre Manigana Iva. Sutre Manigana Iva. Have you seen in the villages? No? Some people, nowadays it is not available in any villages also. Those time, puppet show will be there. Puppet show means a toy will be hanged with a thread, and the thread will be moved by a master, and according to the movement, the toy will be dancing. We call it puppet show. Bommalatam in Tamil. I don't know in Malayalam what to say. This, we are just puppets. And who is acting or moving our thread? The Lord. So, if you understand this, then we can have that complete surrender. And who is the example for this? Bali Maha Chakravarti. Bali, he is a king. He had a pride that he got a grace from his Guru Sukracharya. But Sukracharya himself cursed Bali. He told, no, this Sri Hari has come in the form of a small dwarf child, like a small child. Dwarf only, no? Dwarf we can use, no? Dwarf. Dwarf, no? So, he just came like a small child, but he asked only 3 feet, and that to him, he will measure only from his feet. Whereas Bali told, no, I will give my entire kingdom. Then this small child asked, "Oh Bali, I want only 3 feet, and that too I will measure from my own feet." Then immediately Bali said, "Okay." With his wife Vindhyachali, both have given promise, "God, you please take." Then God has taken with 1 feet measurement, he has taken the 14 lokas. Bhu, Bhuvaha, Suvaha, Janaha, Mahaga, Atala means Satyam. Then with the other 1 feet, he has measured Atala, Vitala, Rasatala, Mahatala, Patala. So 14 lokas were measured with his 2 feet. Then he asked, "Bali, I asked 3. Where is the 3rd place?" Then Bali don't know what to do. Then he told, "Oh Lord, please keep your feet on my head." Of course, then Vishnu told, "You are a king. You are the representative of the people. So I should not keep my feet on your head." Then immediately God disappeared. That is how this Vamana Puranam, and of course Malayalis, Kerala people are well versed about these things that we celebrate during the Onam. Many people, they go for only Ona Sadyam, but the story behind this is this Bali. And the real philosophical thing is hidden in this. Bali is a great Mahatma, being a Asura, being cursed by his own Guru. He became a great person. Even now we celebrate him. Why? Because he has completely surrendered everything to the Lord and he became a great personality. What it means, when we surrender everything to the God, we will become not zero, but we will become, of course, as Sri Ramakrishna said, we are a zero. Zero doesn't have any value, but if the same zero had a 1 in front of him, means in the prefix 1, if it's there, 1 if you put in before the 0, then it became 10. Then you add any 0 for that matter, it is adding the valuation, means it is adding the value 10, 100, 1000, then 10,000, lakh, crore, like that it goes. But actually if you remove that 1, then what will happen? You put any 0, that 0 is remaining as 0. So our life also same thing. If you put any 0, we are just nothing in front of the God. If you have this God-oriented life, this Shravanam, Kirtanam, Smaranam, Padasevanam, Marchanam, Vandanam, Dasyam, Sakyam or Atma Nivedanam. Swamiji, is it necessary everything, all the 9 we should process, means we should possess? No. Either 1 or 2, or if you are having capability, you can adopt all the 9 or try at least. Then we can say that I am also a devotee of this, the Supreme Lord. So with this thing, then we'll move to the next session. There Panchavida Bhakti, which Sri Ramakrishna Math and Mission also generally we follow in the Vaishnava set also. These 5 sort of bhaktis are very, very essential. I will condense the topic. First one is Sadhu Sangha. Always associate with devotees. What is meant by who is a sadhu? We say now and then sadhu means a sannyasi. No. Sadhu eva sadhuhu. Sadhu eva sadhuhu. Niruktam Yaska has written a beautiful thesaurus called Niruktam. In that he has mentioned who is a sadhu. Sadhu eva sadhuhu. Who is a good person? He is a good person. He is a holy person. So always get connected with holy person or holy atmosphere. Then the second one is Nama Kirtanam. Always chant the name of the God. Sri Rama Mantra, Sri Krishna Mantra or Sri Ramakrishna Mantra. Then read the glory of God. Bhagavata Smaranam. Read the scriptures. Bhagavata Mahapuranam, or Vachanamritam, Leelamritam, that is to say in English, Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna, or Divine Life of Sri Ramakrishna, or Bhagavata Puranam, or Vishnu Puranam, or Bhagavad Gita, because they always make your mind in an ideal pedestal, Leela Prasanga, etc. Then the third one is try to residing at the holy places like Madura, Vrindavan, Kashi, Ayodhya. Of course, in means in Bharata Desham, Kashmir to Kanyakumari, we have plenty of temples, churches, and mosques. Wherever you go, it is all holy. As mentioned by Sri Ramachandra Prabhu when he was returning to Ayodhya, Janani Janma Janani Janma Bhumischa Swargadhyapi Gariyasi. When Sri Swami Vivekananda returned from West, he just he started rolling on the ground when he was reached Kundukal, and he kissed the land, earth, and he told, oh Mother Earth, I am back. So this affection, the entire world is ours, and we should always associate or residing near the holy places. Then the fifth one is worshipping the deity with full faith. Perform your duty, service, everything, but your attitude should be, I have a God with me. He is not only in a temple or not only in the home or a shrine. He is always within us. Inside my heart he is residing. Symbologically, this was inscripted in the churches and chapels. If you go to any church, there is a Sacred Heart. Of course, not Sacred Heart means it's not a school name. Actually, Sacred Heart means the Father in heaven is within you, as said by Bible, Jesus. The God is always within us. So, He is residing in our heart. So, it is symbologically, they kept in the chapel, there will be a small room and there a small heart will be there. In that, if you see, even cloth and other things, there will be some holy things will be kept, and the Father will come and He will take out those things and He will worship and He will put back those things and He will go. Similarly, even in Hindu worship, we have some sacred things, like in Madura, Krishna used things, articles are there. In Ayodhya, Sri Ramachandra Prabhu used articles are there, and yes, that kingdom, even palace is existing even now. And if you go to Kashi, Kashi Vishwanatha is there. If you go to Belumat, Sri Ramakrishna used articles and Sardama used articles and Swami Vivekananda used articles are there. So these are all Leela Dhyanam, means the meditation upon all those things. One thing will be undercurrent, that is the God is always within us and He is with us. That faith should be inculcated. So these 5 things, Sadhu Sangha, Nama Kirtanam, Bhagavat Smaranam, then residing in holy places. Then the last one is having faith. These 5 things are essential for a bhakta. So with these things, we will stop and we will move further. How to inculcate those things in our life in the light of Sri Ramakrishna and Swami Vivekananda and Sharadama's scripture. We will see in the next session. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Tat Sat. Shri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu.